Are you a fan of Robert E. Howard, especially Conan? What about 70s sci-fi novels? Do you like something more gritty? Do you like the connection between science and magic? I have the review for you. Hi everyone, it's Carrie, aka Nerdygirlcreates, and welcome back to my channel. It's Indie Friday, and today we're going to take a look at The Forgotten Blade. This is coming from TKO Publications, and it is written by, I'm going to screw this up, but it's Sai Chun, and art by Tony Fazula. Now, this is a mostly fantasy story. However, it has a lot of sci-fi elements, and this graphic novel actually collects issues 1 through 6. The first thing I want to talk about is the art. Now, if you ever taken a look at classic sci-fi novels and the cover art, especially stuff from like John Berkey, Ralph Brilhart, old Jerome Podwell, it has this really interesting design to it. Like the use of very like light blue colors, dark oranges, browns, like greens. It's like very specific. And that's what the art is like in this. It's rough, but it uses specific colors to kind of like accentuate things. Like the blade itself doesn't look like a regular sword. It looks very scientific. It's got very much detail to it. Even like the building, especially the Citadel, has the same type of construction design weaved into it. It's very old school, and I like it because it really works with this type of story, because the story itself feels very much like an older sci-fi novel. And the story revolves around two characters, Noah and Ruza the Unwashed. Now, Noah is I guess you could call her a mage. And she lives in this world where there are different rivers that were created by this god known as the Allfather. Yes, there's a lot of Nordic influence too, which we'll get into later. So Noah is this woman who was wrongly accused of being breaking the rules of the church. Now, this church worships the Allfather, and they accused her of using magic and heresy, and they were in the process of punishing her, the Inquisitors. The Inquisitors were sent to punish her because a neighbor ratted her out. And during this process, her 2 children are killed, and they're banished to this river where their souls will wander forever in misery. She wants revenge because the church is corrupt. She comes across Ruza the Unwashed, who is this warrior, very Conan-like. You know, he was kind of like orphaned. He was taken in by the church, but it wasn't a good situation. And he actually fought for them. But his whole motivation is to defeat who is ever stronger than him. He wants to be the best. He wants nobody to be above him. And he and Noah cross paths. And she convinces him to help her take down the Allfather. And the main motivation is he gets to kill a god. What bigger warrior is there than a god, right? More powerful than any human, right? So he goes with her on this what seems like a very impossible mission. And during this, there's a couple of obstacles they fall across. There's some people they meet, some good, some bad. You kind of get the gist. Now, the story itself is very well balanced. I liked how the backstories did not overshadow the main plot. They were just enough to give you information about the 2 main characters, as well as kind of like drive the plot along without having to interfere. Because I hate when you read something and suddenly the backstory takes over chapters and chapters. And you kind of wish you would get back to the main plot already. That happens a lot with like anime. You're just kind of like, can we please get back to the main story? Thank you. And it kind of gives you some interesting information. I mean, you kind of understand where Noah is coming from. You kind of understand where Rosa is coming from. And though their motivations are both different, they both have a dislike for this church. Like I said, there was a lot of Nordic influence. Like in the beginning, there's a warrior that Rosa fights that's pretty much resembles Thor. He's got a hammer and everything. The All-Father reference, the warrior mentality, that's another thing I see play into this a lot. It kind of conflicts with what the church says they are. Okay? It's like they have these warriors, but yet the church, the Inquisitors are their army, but then you have, like, I guess you call them the priest and priestess, who are like very, oh, we're here to help society, we're here to do this and that, and you pretty much know it's bullshit. They believe their own bullshit, though, and that's a problem also. There's also a mystery about the All-Father. There's something they're not saying because nobody's ever seen the All-Father, which you can argue that in reality nobody has seen God. But does that mean he doesn't exist? Or maybe he isn't what they're telling you he is? It's something that gets questioned, and in the end you do get an answer. And it's a very interesting twist. I mean, there are hints there all along of what exactly. It might not be that big of a surprise, but it is really interesting to see it play out. I do like Rosa's development during this as well. He kind of goes off on this, I'm out to just for myself. This mission is just for me to accomplish a goal that I want to obtain. I do not really care about what her mission is. I'm just doing this so I can have name recognition as the guy who killed the god. Yeah, there's a lot of similarities with him with Conan and the sword. And the sword itself plays a very big part in this story. It's very important. And to really get into it would ruin things, and I'm not going to do that. But, like, again, when you see this blade, it doesn't look like a typical sword. It's very, like, if I reference the art from the 70s for these sci-fi novel covers, it's very, like, technology looking. I don't, that's probably a dumb word to use, but it doesn't look like a metal blade. It looks more like, kind of like a laser blade, almost kind of like, if you ever seen the original artwork for the original designs of what they wanted to do with Star Wars, almost like that with the lightsabers, but a little more bulky. So it's really cool. I do like how the story ends. You pretty much, one comes to their conclusion and another character finds a whole new mission. So this could continue, but at the same point it's okay it doesn't, because you do get a satisfying conclusion. Now, the one thing I did kind of not like about this, and this is for anybody who, if you're going into this thinking you're going to get a long run series, and I still don't know if this will be, but this story itself is just 6 issues combined into one graphic novel, and the journey they take to get to the Citadel is nowhere as, like, long as, say, Lord of the Rings. I mean, it feels very quick. Not necessarily that the story itself is bad, but you kind of feel like they might have had a little bit more obstacles. And truthfully, most of it takes place when they already get inside the Citadel. But yeah, it doesn't seem like they come across different, like, it's not one of those epic journeys. I mean, I feel like they get to the point where they need to be, and then they just fight what kind of obstacles they have to get to the end result. Trying not to say too much. So it does feel a little rushed in their journey, and you kind of feel like you want to see them come across more things, maybe more resolutions. Though what is given is good. Again, you don't want maybe too much, because too much will sometimes just lose people. But I really did enjoy this story. Again, don't know if it's going to continue. I do recommend it. If you want just the graphic novel, I'm going to link it below. I'm not sure where the issues are, but if I find them, I'll link that below too. The individual issues. But It's good. And like I said, the art is very reminiscent of like 70s sci-fi cover art. And I like it. It kind of stands out from everything else. And that's what you want. And the story is gritty. I wouldn't recommend it for young children because there are some it has language, it has some gore. Not really that bad of gore, but there is language. Okay, there's things that are implied too that I would not feel appropriate for a child. So I would suggest this is definitely geared towards an older audience, especially audience that's nostalgic for this type of like fantasy sci-fi combo, like Kroll. I'm aging myself. You're probably sitting there going, what the hell is she talking about? But yeah, this, I do recommend it. Link will be down below. Let me know, have you read The Forgotten Blade? Is there anything else like it you recommend? Go ahead, comment down below. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you on the next video. Bye.